Operation Citadel, also known as the Battle of Kursk, was one of the largest and most pivotal clashes on the Eastern Front during World War II. In the spring of 1943, the Eastern Front had stabilized, and the Soviet Union had successfully pushed the German forces back. Adolf Hitler, seeking to regain the initiative, ordered the planning of Operation Citadel. The Soviet defenses around the Kursk salient were formidable. They had constructed an intricate system of trenches, bunkers, minefields, and anti-tank obstacles. The Soviets were well aware of the impending German offensive and had prepared accordingly. The German army amassed an impressive force for Operation Citadel, including the elite Waffen-SS units. Their plan was to conduct a pincer movement, with Army Group South led by Field Marshal Erich von Manstein and Army Group Center under Field Marshal Gunther von Kluge, aiming to encircle and destroy the Soviet forces within the Kursk salient. The Soviets, led by General Georgy Zhukov, knew of the German plans through intelligence sources and reconnaissance. They strategically positioned their forces to withstand the German onslaught. Zhukov devised a defensive strategy that aimed to blunt the German offensive and then launch a counteroffensive. On July 5, 1943, the German forces initiated Operation Citadel by launching a massive artillery barrage. This was followed by a frontal assault on the Soviet defenses. The fighting was brutal, with tanks, artillery, and infantry engaged in intense combat. The Battle of Kursk raged on for weeks, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The Soviets held their ground, and the German advance slowed. Despite some gains, the Germans could not achieve the breakthrough they sought. By mid-July, the Soviet counteroffensive began, as Zhukov unleashed his reserves and encircled the German forces. The tide of battle turned decisively in favor of the Soviets. The Germans were forced into a fighting retreat. Operation Citadel ended in early August 1943, with the Soviets emerging victorious. The battle resulted in staggering casualties on both sides, but it marked a turning point on the Eastern Front. It was the last major German offensive, and from that point on, the Soviet Red Army went on the offensive, steadily pushing the Germans back toward Berlin.